Well, hello and welcome to Spirit of Sports, our special broadcast. Tokyo Olympics draws to a close, and this has certainly been extraordinary Olympics. Big hand to the organizers also for making the Olympics happen this year. And as far as the medal tally is concerned, US remained number 1 with 39 gold medals, China second, and host Japan at the third position. India remained at the 48th position, but best performance by India in the Olympics ever. We'll talk all about that, about the medalists also, who all deserve an applause despite not winning, and also how government's role in shaping the young talent. We'll also have an eminent panel of guests with us for the discussion. Let's start Spirit of Sports. Right, so after a roller coaster of heartwarming, heartbreaking and triumphant moments, the Tokyo Olympics came to a close in Tokyo, Japan. Olympic athletes got a surreal glimpse of everyday Tokyo life when the closing ceremony was briefly transformed into a park with grass, buskers and BMX riders in a valediction after weeks spent under the regime of pandemic games. PM Narendra Modi also tweeted and congratulated the Indian contingent. Has more. A rain-soaked national stadium in Tokyo bid farewell to a sporting extravaganza that will be hard to forget. Postponed by a year and finally organized amidst bio-bubbles and strict COVID protocols with no spectators cheering on, Tokyo 2020 Olympic has perhaps been the toughest ever for organizers and players alike. The Indian contingent shone, starting their medal haul on day one itself, with Mirabai Chanu bringing home the silver in weightlifting. The contingent closed on the penultimate day in style, with Neeraj Chopra bringing in the first gold in athletics ever. A recently recovered Bajrang Punia also brought home the fourth bronze from Tokyo in wrestling. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who made it a point to speak to the winners,
बहुत बधाई आपको, आपने देश का नाम रोशन किया है और देश की युवा पीढ़ी को इसके कारण खेल के क्षेत्र में आगे आने का मन करेगा.
as well as those who fought till the end.
Sir, thank you so much.
आप लोग रोना बंद कीजिए. मेरे तक आवाज आ रही है. देखिए देश आज आपका पर गर्व कर रहा है.
In a tweet said, as Tokyo 2020 draws to a close, I would like to congratulate the Indian contingent for their stupendous performance at the Games. They personified the best of skill, teamwork and dedication. Every athlete who represented India is a champion. The medals India has won has certainly made our nation proud and elated. At the same time, this is the time to keep working to further popularize sports at the grassroots so that new talent emerges and gets the opportunity to represent India in the times to come. Hashtag Tokyo 2020. A special thank you to the government and people of Japan, especially Tokyo, for hosting the well-organized games. To host it so successfully in such times gave out a strong message of resilience. It also demonstrated how sports is a great unifier. It was the best performance at an Olympic Games ever for India, with a 7-medal haul and the largest contingent ever. Host Japan also closed at number 3 with 58 podium finishes, including 27 gold medals. The hope is that Sayonara Olympic 2020 will mean Bonjour Paris 2024, with Team India growing from strength to strength. Sports Desk, DD India. Absolutely. US finished at number 1, China at number 2, Japan at number 3, and India finished Tokyo 2020 Olympics at the 48th position. Eminent panel of guests is also with us. Joydeep Karmakar, Olympian, is with us. Welcome, Joydeep. Welcome to DD India. And we also have Rakesh Rao, senior sports journalist, with us. Welcome, Rakesh sir. Good to have you on our show. First of all, Rakesh sir, if I can come to you. Olympics draws to a close, and big hand to the organizers for making it happen, and maybe the toughest Olympics to organize, and thank God everything went off so well.
You said it. You know, I must say that a lot of attention has been there on the, on the athletes who make it happen, the coaches, the kind of constraints that everybody has faced. But I think it is just an opportune time for us to give a big hand to the organizers. Look at the amount, I mean, the kind of challenges they faced throughout. I mean, the kind of uncertainty they had, the kind of disappointment that the Japanese felt, whether these games would be held or not. But just give credit to the way they have kept their head, they kept their cool, despite all, all the reasons. It can be economic, social, whatever. And then you also look at the fact that, because of the COVID, the COVID situation, the kind of hit that their aviation sector has taken, their infrastructure, their real estate, their hospitality, sector. Despite all that, they put everything aside and they gave you a top-class games.
Absolutely top-class Olympics. US number 1, China number 2, Japan hosts at number 3 and India at 48th position. Joydeep, your reaction on this, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also tweeted, we are playing PM's tweet on our screen also. It is time basically to further popularize sports at the grassroots so that new talent emerges and gets the opportunity to represent India in the times to come. Your reaction?
Absolutely. There are a few schemes which came maybe a decade back, which actually changed the whole scenario of Indian sports, like the TOPS scheme. The NSDF was converted to TOPS. And then I think the biggest impact, which we are not feeling yet, is Khelo India, which we will be having an effect maybe in 4 or 8 or maybe 12 years from now. And it will be a sea change in the scenario of sports where we are happy this time, of course, like with 7 medals, the best ever haul from London, bettering the London score. But I think there will be a sea change in maybe Paris or maybe in LA or maybe in Australia in 32. But we are not waiting for that, but we are working hard towards that. And in tandem with the government policies and things and the great level of support from the sports ministry and SAI, I think we are in a correct direction, and we are actually elevating the base of the pyramid. Yes, I would agree that the top of the pyramid is yet not there exactly. Of course, Neeraj's performance, who would question it like ever? But then, we need more of these kind of pinnacle achievements. Of course, we will be working for that, and we have to think that we are 1 year already in preparation of Paris, because there's 3 years left. It's not anymore the 4 years cycle for Paris. So we need to pull up our socks and go for it now.
Absolutely. See change, like you said, in how sports is perceived. 7 medals, best ever medal haul by India. We surpassed London Olympics medal tally of 6. We'll talk about the government funding also, the support of the SAI and the government also. But we need to talk about the medalists here. It capped 2 weeks of Olympic action that was watched by millions of people around the world. India surpassed its London Olympics medal tally by winning 7 medals in Tokyo, and this is the first time that India has managed to secure 7 medals across various sporting events, and these names will be etched in the history with the golden letters. India's campaign at the Tokyo Olympics 2020 ended with Neeraj Chopra's unthinkable, unprecedented and unbelievable performance. India's first gold medal ever in track and field gave joy to 1 billion hearts across the country. Some had tears of joy, while others had goosebumps listening to the national anthem being played and the Indian flag flying high. With Neeraj's gold, India also reached its best ever medal tally at the quadrennial event with 7 medals, surpassing London Olympics tally. Weightlifting, Mirabai Chanu, silver, 49 kg category. The weightlifter from Nongpok Kakching village at the foothills of Imphal East District in Manipur ended India's 21-year wait for a weightlifting medal. She opened India's account with a silver in the women's 49 kg category when she lifted a total of 202 kg. She made sure that India started its Olympic campaign with a bang. Badminton, PV Sindhu, bronze in women's singles. PV Sindhu became the first Indian woman and only the second Indian athlete after Sushil Kumar to win 2 individual Olympic medals. The ace shuttler from Hyderabad beat China's Hebing Jiao 21-13, 21-15 to win the bronze medal in the women's singles competition. Boxing, Lovlina Borgohain, bronze women's welterweight. Lovlina Borgohain became only the third Indian pugilist to ensure a podium finish at the Olympic Games after Vijender Singh in 2008 and Mary Kom in 2012 when she defeated Chinese Taipei's Nianqin Chen in the quarterfinals to assure herself of a medal. In the semi-finals, she suffered a 0-5 loss to reigning world champion to return home with the bronze. The 23-year-old from Golaghat district of Assam gave India its first Olympic medal in Indian boxing in 9 years. Wrestling, Ravi Kumar Dahiya, silver, men's 57 kg freestyle. Ravi Kumar Dahiya clinched silver medal in 57 kg freestyle wrestling to become the 7th Indian to win a silver medal at the Olympics in an individual event. He also became the second Indian debutant to win a medal at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. The Sonipat-born grappler had to settle for the second spot after he lost 7-4 to two-time world champion Zavur Uguev. Hockey, men's hockey team, bronze. India men's hockey team, which was starved of an Olympic medal since the gold at the 1980 Moscow Games, claimed the bronze medal when they beat Germany 5-4 in an enthralling match. It was India's 5th medal at the Tokyo 2020 Games. Wrestling, Bajrang Punia, bronze in men's 65 kg freestyle. Wrestler Bajrang Punia, also in his debut Olympics, beat Kazakhstan's Daulat Niyazbekov in the men's 65 kg freestyle wrestling playoff to claim the bronze medal. Bajrang was seen wearing a strap around his right knee during his bouts, but he held his ground and gave India its 6th medal. Javelin throw, Neeraj Chopra, gold. Neeraj Chopra became India's second individual Olympic champion after Abhinav Bindra with his men's javelin throw gold at Tokyo 2020. He also gave India its first gold in athletics ever in the history of Olympics. This is the first time that India has managed to secure 7 medals across various sporting events, and these names will be etched in history with golden letters. Sports Desk, DD India. Rakesh ji, if I can come to you straight away, we started the campaign with the bang, Mirabai Chanu winning, and then shooters disappointed. Then came PV Sindhu. Hockey, we won after 1980, 41-year-old jinx we broke. Ravi Dahiya and Lovlina, we were not talking about them before, so there were surprises. And then Neeraj Chopra with a gold, which is unprecedented. How do you see the overall performance of the Indian contingent?
Well, overall, it just depends on how you see it. Yes, it is the best ever in terms of number, and which needs to be celebrated.
Yeah.
But then we cannot become euphoric about it beyond a point. Yes, it's great to celebrate a big success.
Yeah.
Because this is unprecedented. Yes, but it is also important to just look at what happened 9 years ago. We won 6 medals. We were aiming for at least 8 in Rio. The number fell from 6 to 2. Now, when you see against that figure of 2, 7 looks huge, right? But what if we had, we should have got at least 10 medals here, so that it was 6 in 2012, say 8 in Rio, and say about 10 in 2020. That would have shown, a steady progress. But then, of course, we don't have things in our control. Things don't happen the way we wish. But yes, from 2 to 7 is a big leap. And but then we cannot be complacent about it. We cannot start reading too much about it. We need to ensure that all the good work that has actually taken place so far, that needs to continue. Plus, review the situation in a way by being honest with ourselves. What what I've always felt is, we keep talking about goody things and rosy things, and we start believing it beyond a point. We got to realize that the world is also progressing. It is not just us. So we need to not only keep pace with them, we need to outpace them. For that, there are some steps that need to be taken. And, a lot of these lip service is being offered, which is fine. But I still feel that, what the government has done in the last so many years for Olympic sports, that is incredible. And a lot of credit can straight away be given to them. But in addition to that, I think the corporate support is needed. This is where I appeal that since the tempo is there and things like that, let the corporate step in and adopt a sport or two. That is where I think, because government can do only up to a point and not beyond that. This is where I invite a lot of corporates to step in with their ideas. There has to be a lot more input, in place so that we can really build India into a superpower.
But Joydeep, we are talking about the medals tally here. Like Rakesh ji also said, that if we compare it with London 2012, it's just 1 medal ahead. And then if you compare it with Rio 2016, 5, we got 2 in Rio, a big leap. But again, we need to talk about the shooters here. The shooters went into the games as some of India's strongest medal contenders, not just because the shooting medal has come from every Olympics barring Rio since Rajyavardhan Singh Rathor's double trap silver in 2004, but because it is the only sport where India has won a gold medal, but also because this was a team with young talent who have won international medals by the handfuls, barring Saurabh Chaudhary. No one, in fact, do you agree with this, that no one gave it a tough fight to the contenders?
See, that is relative, I would say. Like maybe everybody has given their fight like in their own terms, but then it didn't show. The numbers were not there, the medals were not there. It was not showing that they were fighting. Like I believe the shooters did did their performance very honestly, I would say, and prepared honestly as well. But you know what happened? Like they were too defensive about it because they knew that they are capable of winning medals and there's a lot of hope on them. Maybe a few of them were out of social media or any pressure, but then it happens like that. Like, the coaches are around, the support staff is there. So everybody was very cautious and they were very like taking steps at a time, like, small steps, and they were defensive about it. I think, in my opinion, they they had to have that courage to go and go for the kill, in fact, rather than not being defensive. And I would absolutely agree with Rakesh ji, like whatever he mentioned. I think it's like 200% truth. The government support was phenomenal in this last decade, I would say.
Yeah.
And they were supported well, they were nurtured well. Everything was behind them, the whole system, the National Federation, the National Rifle Association of India, running the thing, the president himself, like being a shooter himself, he did phenomenally well to support the team. But something was missing, and I think that was that courage, that the bravery to go ahead and go for the kill. That was missing. They were defending something already when they're going to Olympics. In Olympics, you have to think you're not defending anything. You're going there to give it all. But they were not able to give it all because they had been defending something, and that was like, that was a fear of failure, I think, which actually had them
right. Joydeep, we'll talk about the shooters in detail. Might we will have a separate show on Indian shooting. But Rakesh ji, how difficult it must be for the athletes to compete during the pandemic. Neeraj Chopra, for example, didn't compete on the international stage for 17 months between January 2020 and June 2021. I was reading it somewhere. Sindhu featured in only 5 tournaments from March 2020. And Indian hockey team also, I mean, they were in lockdown in Bengaluru at SAI. So medalists here become all the more, medals here, I should say, become all the more special here.
Yeah, definitely, yes. But then, at the same time, when you look at somebody like Sindhu, I think she had the opportunity to train, provided there was a kind of a secure zone given to her. Why I'm saying about Sindhu? Because if you take the example of some of the European countries, for example, Victor Axelsen, the eventual men's singles champion in badminton, he and his teammates, as early as April, they were kept in a secure zone because they thought that, Denmark had a chance when it came to men's badminton. So what they did, as early as April, March, when the first time when it actually happened, most of the European countries were looking at the possibility of a complete lockdown. Denmark said, listen guys, you 5 will have to train separately. You go into a stadium, we are going to give you that secure. Let the nation, continue to, have its issues with COVID. We are going to, use all our resources to fight COVID-19, but you guys are safe. Now, this is the kind of approach we needed, because their sports is a little more of a priority than it is in this country. We have our socioeconomic reasons. I don't want to go deep into it, but the fact remains that the way a lot of European nations and a lot of other countries, say US and some of the other developed nations, the way they look at sports, India doesn't look at it in the same way. And probably we cannot even see it that way because we have other priorities. Having said that, and just allow me to just wrap it up. I'm saying a lot of these medals are special. Yes, there were constraints because we are in a different kind of way we are governed, the kind of constraints we have. But give them the credit because despite the constraints, if they have actually been there, they could get us the maximum number of medals there and the performances wise, not just the medals. Look at some of the admirable performances which couldn't be converted into
talk
a medal.
about that.
Fantastic,
Absolutely. We have won 7 medals, but we could have won more. But special these medals are, and India won 7 medals in Tokyo. But we need to appreciate the athletes who came very, very close to winning a medal at the Olympics. The efforts of these athletes can't be overlooked. Here's more in this report.
With the unprecedented victory of Neeraj Chopra in India's history, the country's medal tally has gone up to 7, the highest so far in any Olympics. With 126 athletes across 18 sport disciplines, India had sent its biggest ever contingent to Tokyo Olympics. Indian athletes participated in 69 cumulative events, highest ever for the country. And India's biggest contingent capped off its best ever performance for the first time in Olympic history. As Tokyo Olympics comes to a close, take a look at the athletes who came within touching distance of glory but couldn't quite make it to the podium. Women's hockey team. The women's hockey team, led by Rani Rampal at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, delivered the team's best ever performance at the Olympic Games by becoming the first Indian women's team to reach the semi-finals in hockey. Ranked 9th at the start of the tournament, India punched way above its weight and reached semi-finals by stunning favourites Australia in the quarter-final after just about edging into the knockout stages. However, a defeat to close Argentina in the semi-final was followed by another narrow loss against Great Britain in the bronze medal match. It was, however, an inspirational campaign as the team repeatedly punched above their collective weight. Aditi Ashok, golf. Indian golfer Aditi Ashok, ranked 200th in the world, went to Tokyo Olympics without any expectations. But day by day, round by round, she caught the imagination of the nation as she finished in the top 3 of each of the first 3 rounds. Going into the final round, placed second, Aditi made India, a nation otherwise indifferent to the sport of golf, wake up in the early hours of the day and follow her. However, just when it mattered the most, she slipped out of the medal places after a rain shower had interrupted the round. She missed a birdie by a whisker and finished 4th in the women's stroke play event. Deepak Punia. Making his Olympic debut at just 22, Deepak Punia impressed going all the way to the semi-finals, where he ran into eventual gold medal winner David Taylor of USA. He lost the bout by technical superiority but then had a shot at the bronze medal. He led the bronze medal bout against San Marino's Miles Amine till the final 10 seconds before he gave away a takedown to lose the bout with barely any time left in the match. It was heartbreaking for Punia, but he will surely learn from his debut Olympics appearance and is earmarked as one for the future. Men's 4x400 meter. The Indian men's 4x400 meter relay quartet shattered the Asian record during the Olympics heat race but missed qualifying for the final round by a whisker. Semi-final in the men's lightweight doubles sculls event. On July 25th, rowers Arjun Lal Jatt and Arvind Singh became the first Indian double sculls pair to reach the semi-finals at the Olympics. They finished 11th in the event, which is the best ever result for the country at the Olympic Games. India's previous best at the event was 18th place finish at the London Games in 2012. This time, there were several notable firsts in terms of participation at Tokyo Olympics. For the first time in its history, a fencer from India had qualified for the Olympic Games. Bhavani Devi won the first match against Nadia Azizi of Tunisia and became the first Indian fencing player to win a match at Olympics. Netra Kumanan was the first ever female sailor from India to qualify for an Olympic Games. Sajan Prakash and Srihari Natraj were the first swimmers from India to qualify for an Olympic Games by achieving the A qualification standard in swimming. Sports Desk, DD India.
Absolutely, you got to feel for these athletes, especially Aditi Ashok and Indian women's hockey team. They came very close to winning the medal, and who else can understand better than Joydeep Karmakar, London Olympics 2012, we all remember. But I'm sorry, we are running short of time. We'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you, Joydeep, and also Rakesh ji. Thank you for giving us your precious time. Well, that's all we have in this edition of Spirit of Sports. Stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.